Hello and welcome back to Green Money Momentum, where we talk about market movements, making money, and money momentum. In the year of 2024, we saw some pretty healthy gains for the stock Palantir. The stock went up 394%, giving any investors who were invested in 2023 or at the beginning of the year a very wealthy return on investment, almost a complete 4x. And now coming into 2025, the price to earnings ratio for Palantir is quite high, and it's leaving many investors to wonder, is this stock overbought and is it overvalued? And so today we're going to be talking about whether Palantir is still a buy or not in 2025. But I want to say, as always, that this is not financial advice, and I always recommend doing your own due diligence before making any financial decisions. So let's hop into it. So the very first thing we're going to be talking about here is the price to earnings ratio for Palantir, but I'm going to catch anybody up on what price to earnings is if you're not familiar with it. So the price to earnings ratio, also known as the PE ratio, is the ratio of a company's share price to the company's earnings per share. The ratio is used for valuing companies and to find out whether they are overvalued or undervalued. And so typically a good price to earnings ratio is between 20 and 25. When looking at price to earnings ratios, you're looking at having a lower ratio. That is typically better. It could be looked at kind of like a golf score. The lower number, the better. And so when we look at the price to earnings ratio for Palantir, it does appear very high, as it is sitting at 404, and we just talked about a good price to earnings ratio would be around 20 to 25. And so many bears will point to this and say this is the reason not to invest into Palantir, but many bulls aren't too fearful of this metric. So let's get down to the bottom of Palantir. Let's look at the technicals and fundamentals of this company and see if it truly is a buy or if this price to earnings ratio is correct and you should stay far away from this stuff. When it comes to Palantir, they have a strong customer base, as their main customers are the United States government working with their defense sector, and then also with a lot of commercial businesses. And their commercial business side is only getting better year over year, as it increased 54% and 13% quarter over quarter in quarter three. And when it comes to forward investing for me, where I'm looking at great companies and stocks to hold into the future, I always like to look at their revenue, their annual net income, and also their earnings per share. And so when we look at those metrics for Palantir, we could see that they're killing it with the revenue, and then even better, they're also killing it when it comes to net income. So we could see that all the way up till 2022, they were in the negative when it came to net income, but then in 2023, they flipped that, and assuming that they're going to have a great quarter four, it's also going to be in the positive for 2024, 2 years of consecutive positive numbers. And when we look at their earnings history, we can see that they've beat estimates 16 times in 17 quarters. And we see here on this chart that each time analysts have an expectation, that Palantir is surpassing those expectations. And so what's really positive about Palantir is they are a growing AI company, but with a lot of AI companies, they are still under the water. So innovation takes a lot of money. As you know, it takes money to make money, but Palantir has already went through that stage, as they were losing money in 2022 and before that. But with the flip, this company is now in the positive. And for me, that's what really makes me most bullish on Palantir, despite the price to earnings being pretty high and there being a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt online. I have a pretty strong conviction in this company, as they are earning money quarter after quarter and year over year. And for a business to stay successful over the long term, having positive numbers definitely helps with that growth. I also want to encourage investors to remember that this is going to be the first time that Palantir is going to have an earnings announcement while being in the NASDAQ 100. So just the announcement of entering the NASDAQ 100 in November and the positive earnings they had, it did send this stock up a lot higher. And next month, we're going to see another earnings call for Palantir. So if they continue to beat expectations as they have quarter over quarter, I believe that we should continue to see positive price movement for Palantir. And also when we zoom out and we look at the big picture for Palantir, I remember all these years where the stock was here. I remember people online, on Reddit and on many other forums, YouTube, everywhere was saying that Palantir was undervalued and you need to buy. Palantir was going to be the hottest stock. And now that we saw some big gains in 2024, the nearly 400% return on investment for a lot of investors, we're now seeing the sentiment go the other way. And now a lot of investors are saying that the stock is overvalued. But would I encourage those who are watching Palantir to remember that this is really a long-term investment, and you got to really have the big picture mentality here. If it was undervalued in 2022, if it's now considered overvalued in 2025, I don't think it could be considered very overvalued in 2025, as even though we have had some massive gains, it's not that far from where we were in 2022, and the market cap for Palantir is still quite low. So it's not even at $1 trillion yet, meaning that when we look at market cap alone, getting up to $1 billion, there's still a lot of room and opportunity for this play to grow. So me personally, I'm still very bullish on Palantir, and even though the price to earnings ratio is high, this could be considered normal, as with something with so much innovation, it could take some time for the value to really catch up. But with Palantir, this is a very strong company, and there is a lot of intrinsic value behind the company. So me personally, I still think it's a buy in 2025, but I would be curious to hear what everyone else has to say about Palantir, whether you're buying, selling, or what your moves are for the future. So please drop a comment in the section below. Please leave a like, and please subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much, and have a great day.